Shove Shark Attractor. dearh is now the fun police. dearh. dearh. Please, at your earliest convenience, explain what it is you hate most about fun. Sincerely yours, the Viewer Game Stream. Bees. In fact, bees. Welcome back, everybody. It's Sunday, and of course, that means Phobies Viewer Games. We got a number of them to look at. We may have some interruptions during the stream because the puppy's with me. He's down there. I don't have the puppy cam set up, so you're gonna have to live without it. But he is he's calm at the moment. He's snoozing, but he's a puppy, so he's prone to just wake up and decide now is the time to terrorize everything. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see. But we're going to be jumping in. Of course, at the start, I have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does, in fact, give me coffee for producing Phobies content and buffing the high score, because I haven't used coffee in months. I'm sure we'll get into that tonight. But we're going to jump into some viewer games. Let's switch over. Got to turn down the volume, chat. I was streaming in my Discord, which if you're interested in Monster of the Week or other goings-on with Random Thoughts, you're going to hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that, if you're here on the live stream, ! Discord. Otherwise, check the links in the description. It's almost like I've had to say this a lot. We're going to jump in with a 21-turn game. We have Philip, or Filip. I think we went through this last time. I don't know which you prefer, but I always enjoy it when it's a real name as opposed to tax evasion. Okay. The enemy had phobies that were 4 to 6 levels higher than mine, but they were overconfident, so I outgamed them. We got a gamer in chat, and we got a gamer in-game, rather. We have gamers in chat also. Puppy wakes up, you should pick it up and show the doggo to us. Well, okay, so I've talked about this before. I've considered creating a, like, four-legged friends or fur friends or whatever channel in the Discord so people can post pet pictures. I was going to do that before my little girl crossed the Rainbow Bridge back in August. Noodle, however, is the new addition to the family. I don't know if I told this story before, but we were not planning on getting a dog for a while. We knew we'd get a dog eventually, but I mean, I still don't think I'm over it, but my wife was going through rescue sites. She always goes through it. That's a foul. All right, we're in for one of those games. I can see where the overconfidence came in. Well, it's probably the count of the Alice store. But anyway, so to finish the story up, my wife was going through adoption sites, rescue sites, and through a service that we used to get Harley, who's been on stream before, my baby. And I'm like, you know what, just send me the sites. We'll see if we can, you know, I'm just going to look at the dogs, not expecting anything. And then I found Noodle, and he looked almost identical to Harley when she was a puppy, like her first pictures that we saw of her. We ended up getting him, like I sent it to my wife that night, and I think 2 days later we were in the car on the way to pick him up. It was something I was absolutely not prepared for, but he's a good boy, even though he's a menace. He's also unconscious, but he's a good boy. Oh, yeah. I hear him groaning. We got a Yeti coming out. We'll get back to the phobies. Still don't get why people use foul as a counter. It's fine. I'm going through this with a different game right now with Star Wars Unlimited, because there's a big ban discussion, because in physical games, like, the requirements are simply different. You can't just... I mean, you could errata things, but that is not a good solution for a lot of reasons. So it's not as simple as in a digital game where you can just change values or rework something and then redeploy it, and then automatically everybody gets everything. Remember how often I always say that, like, you can't just change stuff because even if it gets buffed, people don't like that things are different and they stop playing? Well, imagine if you had a physical thing in front of you that said, I do this. And then someone else told you, well, actually, it doesn't do that. It does this other thing that's not on it. Like, that's insane, right? So I'm going through all the same conversations that I'm going through with and for Phobies. And trying to explain to people about balance all over again, I feel like I'm going to have a stroke. I just can't take it anymore. I'm so tired of talking about it. And I know people are tired of hearing me talk about it here. But the point is, I don't know that the roles... Remember this game from last stream? I don't remember this game. I don't remember. Did we do this one? I don't remember this at all. Actually, this is now starting to look familiar. Whatever. So we have an extra game. Like the freeze here feels familiar? I don't know. Whatever. YouTube comments will tell me. It's fine. Somebody can go check YouTube now. The video's live. But my point is, like, all of the comments about bans and changes and updates and balance and stuff like that, it's just... I'm so tired of it. Like, the reason this even came up is because we were talking about foul as a counter to things. And the problem is, when it comes to any of these counters, the intent, like the design intent of, oh, we're going to create disease things so that they can go on dimensionals and you can't purge the disease, it does extra damage, so this is the counter to dimensionals. Excuse me. So, on paper, that's great. You have a play, you have a counter play, and then it's, can you manage your counter into their original play, or can you counter their counter play, or whatever. That sounds fantastic until you actually try and do it, and sometimes things just don't work out in practice the way they're designed. And as a result, it is not... Actually, now this is looking really familiar with Moly Bully. Maybe we did do this. It gave me time to talk about this anyway. But the point is that it's just not everything is going to work out the way the devs originally intended it. And that being the case, I don't think disease or any of these sort of mechanics are a good answer simply because they take time. That's not how games work. Last VR game night you covered this? Whatever. We're almost there. We'll let it run. It was the last one covered. I must have just not marked it as done. Shit happens. I don't care. We're at the point, time for me to submit a third game then, I guess. Like I said, we'll see how long the puppy wants to cooperate. He may become a menace when he decides to wake up. I don't know. We're very much in a holding pattern for Phobies right now. And it's funny because it's similar to Star Wars. So Star Wars, they are making an announcement on Wednesday that is supposed to be related to any changes, bans, what updates, whatever that they're going to do. On the Phobie side, we're in the same position, just we don't have a targeted date. Like, we don't know. Boop. We don't know boop. We don't know when there's going to be a patch. We don't know when things are going to happen. Like, we just have no idea. Who's pinging me in Discord? I don't know. The Minecraft movie has done irreparable damage. My little brother screams chicken jockey every time he's gaming. I haven't seen the Minecraft movie, and I don't plan to see it. I have no connection whatsoever to Minecraft. I think I played it once. And it is... I don't remember why I played it. I think because my son wanted to. And, like... I just don't like those sort of games, so I was never going to connect with it no matter what. But Minecraft movie aside, we got a Marky game. Marky, my first game in a while of not playing Phobies, and I get match with this BS. Actually written BS. As opposed to bullshit. Which I believe is what was actually intended. I could be wrong. So I have to imagine... I didn't actually look to see who won this game, so I have to imagine that this is going to be some Sentinel Shove Shark nonsense. Maybe? I don't know. Okay, Billy would have been a close second. Here's a thought, chat, for general Phobie setup, and I don't think this is realistically feasible. I don't like the game either. What, Minecraft or Phobies? So, let's say that there's a new Billy. Not necessarily a new 3-action Phobie, but a new rule-breaking Phobie. So, Billy 2.0, whatever it does. And you can imagine whatever. Doesn't that, like, what it does is not necessarily important. What is important, that whatever it does breaks some of the fundamental rules of the game. Would it be prudent for the devs to literally throw away every other map and only include new maps now that take into account the new rules of the game? So by that, I mean, we watched this Billy come out of the vault and immediately be able to hit something that, like, you shouldn't be able to. You can't vault snipe something in the position that Marky had placed their first set of Phobies, normally. Should somebody be able to do this, A, Billy clearly can do it, but B, should the devs, like, completely rework every map or release new maps when these sort of things come out? Now we get everybody's creepy tooth. We got a little Doc Holliday. I don't know. Like, the amount of work required to do this precludes it from ever actually occurring. And I don't know if we break the fundamental rules, is it just incumbent on the other player to adapt? And be like, well, they could have Billy. I cannot position here as a result. Because that's what the entire game is picks, counter picks, and positioning based on what the likely scenarios are. And past a certain point, you kind of have to assume that people have access to these things. I think part of the frustration with Phobies is that you can't safely assume that people have these things. So, like, Billy was a monthly Phobie. So is it possible that people bought it? Absolutely. Is it possible that they put in enough money to level him up? Sure. But what is the Venn diagram of that with the regular population? Like, how many people actually did this? And I think that may lead to a lot of the frustration is not only do you not see it enough, because it is an ultra rare, it is rare, like in the traditional sense of the word as opposed to the rarity. So you don't have as much experience against it, but on top of it, it's such a swingy effect that if you are not properly preparing for it, even if you know what you're doing, like if you accidentally play into it just because it's like, well, 9 games out of 10, 99 games out of 100, it's not going to be there. So the optimal play is X. but that optimal play gets blown out or snowballed due to Billy. There's a bunch of factors that play in here that I think cause problems. I guess where I'm going with it is, would... What? Dude, I forgot this phobie existed. I, honest to God, forgot this phobie existed. I kind of want to get a screenshot with both this and... This will probably be the thumbnail. Hold on. Let me get me out of here. This will probably be the thumbnail. Because how often do you have Billy and this guy on there? I wonder if this is the phobie Marky's talking about. I've never actually seen this phobie in game. I've never seen this phobia in game. I do like his sombrero. I guess this does kind of completely shoot the idea of phobie hats in the foot. Like, you can't... I mean, there's several phobies now with hats, because Billy has a hat. Doc Holliday technically has a hat. Like, you can't just put a hat on them. Our hero does have 9 keys remaining. Are they able to pull this out? Yikes. Doc Holliday about to ruin your day. I understand it's a cactus, so it's a desert plant, and the heat then means fire. But I think it would have been cooler if Espinosa or Billy, one of the two, was ice-based. Just to have that kind of dichotomy. Is Espinosa, right? Yeah, Espinosa. El Espinosa. We got a number of people in chat tonight. Appreciate people hanging out. We got to make a decision about Monster of the Week soon, chat. It's not a ton of effort for me to run it, but it is some effort that I just don't want to put in if people aren't interested. Oh, sleepy puppy. He's a good boy. It's almost bedtime, Noodle. Not yet. It's almost bedtime. Dude, the attack from Doc Holliday just makes my skin crawl. Oh my god, with these bloats! I guess I kind of get it. Our heroes had to commit kind of deep. Memory serves correctly, Espinosa was a bit of a rushed phobie. Per comments, the team was searching for what to do with the Day of the Dead phobie. They've never done a Day of the Dead phobie before. So it feels odd to feel rushed. You know what I mean? Like, assuming that's true, and maybe that isn't the case, but like, you don't have to do one. Like, just wait until the inspiration's there. Although, now that I say that, we haven't gotten a monthly phobie in some time now. Down goes bad guy. Marky, we didn't get to see the ability on Espinosa, though. Disappointed. Bad guy. Shameful. GG. It is a little disappointing. I kind of want to see that. Just kind of like people probably want to see these DTOFs filled, but I haven't had time. We also didn't get an anniversary update. Well, we got the statement, so at least they acknowledged that. Like, there's something... We know that something's going on. Alright, so there are 3 dearh games. We are going to do them all together. We're just going to do all the dearh games together. We'll group them so that way we can make it a little bit easier. I don't have to jump around between profiles. Good Akira, as opposed to bad Akira. Bad guy here actually leading with the Gravedigger opener. Typically what we'd see on Like and Subscribe, except for the last few viewer games. For whatever reason, people just didn't want to. People are just unhinged as of late and just doing things. I actually caught a bunch of people off guard with the intro to this past week's video. I even got a comment as such. People are like, I was a little worried with the intro. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's funny. It's funny to me. We haven't hit a quote that's out of contextable yet, I don't think, for this particular stream. But our hero matching with the Gravedigger opener themselves. I don't love Boomer to the center because I don't love Boomer. Generally speaking, a wasted phobie. At least the way most people use it. Like, I don't inherently have a problem with Boomer. I do inherently have a problem with a lot of other stuff. Life gives you lemons, ask life why they took your mother away. What? What? I don't... What? Shove Shark Attractor. dearh is now the fun police. dearh. dearh. Please, at your earliest convenience, explain what it is you hate most about fun. Sincerely yours, the Viewer Game Stream. dearh is always using meta. dearh has submitted a lot of games, but dearh also has done a shit ton of Wuffalo games, too. Unless I'm attributing it incorrectly. Like, I don't... This is the same argument I'm having in Star Wars. Like, there will always be a meta. There will always be a meta because there are certain game functions that are more valuable than others. So those will be the ones that are used the most because they are the most generally applicable. In order to make an interesting game, you need to have things that are core, and then you need to have things that are fringe, so that there is a degree and separation of excitement in using them. So if you have something that is rarely useful, but powerful when it is useful, it's going to feel cool when you get to use it. Like, it's going to give you a positive feedback feeling. Because it's like, man, I finally got to use this, and then you have this cool storytelling moment. You can't have that if everything is just boring and samey, because they all do the same thing. But you need the differentiation of something that is boring and samey so that the niche thing feels cooler. This is for most people. Obviously, it's going to vary individual to individual, but this is how things work. Like, that's just how reality is. Did you know Cars started playing other mobile games searching for features that would work in Phobies? I did not know that, but it does not surprise me at all. I think the thing is that we know what Phobies needs. I don't know. Okay, so I'll elaborate on this. Really? Do you not just get blown out by an Akira this turn? Our hero's Akira should be live. So you move in, you pull, Okay, we're going to do a very complex pull. But you are able to snipe the Innocuous. You're not killing the Firkin, though, so that means that your Akira is probably going to go down. dearh said, I'm more meta than you. I mean, is Akira meta anymore? If you ask Karst, he'll tell you no. I don't even know if Karst watches these anymore, because I've definitely put stuff out there, and I'm like, Karst will react to this, and then he never reacted, so I don't think he's watching it. Akira's kind of fallen off. I think Akira has, if Karst is to be believed. Wait, what? Did we not Firkin? What the fuck just happened? What? Oh, my brother in Christ. Yikes! That is a yikes moment. Wow. Whoa. Is it you? No, I don't. I think Firkin's a 1. Game? Yeah, Firkin's a 1 turn. They should have been able to Firkin that turn. Did they use it and I didn't see it? It's entirely possible that could happen because I'm like looking at chat. Oh yeah, the extra lock absolutely. Like Akira is obviously worse than it was. But it's difficult to tell how powerful Kira is, given that Shove Shark, Innocuous, and stuff like that exist, and it is, like, it's way easier to execute. The execution bar is way lower. The output is pretty high. And you can do it with a Phobie that's very old, and the Sentinels, so it's probably leveled up. And Shove Shark, which you could have gotten yesterday, and it would be just as effective because of the shove. Well played, dearh, I guess. Alright, so quick sidebar. Mostly because I'm going to, you know, like, I ramble a lot during the games, but I think this deserves special focus. I also need to shave. Karst playing other games, or for that matter, anyone playing other games to bring features back to Phobies. I think that is good. And I think the devs should be doing that too. It is good to experience what else is out there because there are other things to experience just inherently. And also for the purpose of, you know, bringing ideas back. That is valid. However, I think that there's an enormous laundry list, and I'm not like singling out Karst here, but there's Karst has provided an enormous laundry list of things that could be implemented in Phobies, and all of it keeps coming back to the same problem. We don't know, as the outside observers, what the restrictions are on the Phobies team and why they're not doing certain things, or chose not to do certain things way back when. So at the end of the day, we can pitch all the ideas we want to them. But if it turns out they don't have the money, they don't have the expertise, they don't have the resources, they don't have the people, they don't have the whatever, or they just don't want to, it doesn't matter. Like, it's irrelevant because they're not going to do it. And I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Like, we have no idea what that criteria is. So I don't think it's a bad idea by any stretch of the imagination. It's just maybe a bad idea because it's a waste of time. I know that sounds silly. I got a fake out God pack. I don't know what that means. All right, game 2 from dearh. What do we got here? We got opponent tried trolling me with a surprise Phobie, but it didn't work out for them. Work out well for them. Technically, it didn't worked out well for them. That was as written. But I like to correct the grammar where possible. I myself have fallen victim to a variety of autocorrect errors. And in fact, autocorrect has fucked me over so many times that now autocorrects itself to the wrong thing. I think it's just you, PvZ. Have I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum? I've never even heard of that. I played the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, the digital one, briefly. It was a very good reincarnation. It's a great digital client for a card game. I just really can't stand Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's a terrible game. It's very similar to Phobies. Is it still an active game? The problem with games like Phobies is I think a lot of people are already, who enjoy Phobies, are already playing chess. And it's like, this is the perfect thing for me, but I don't think there are many of me out there in the world. Let alone many of me with the disposable income to prop up a game like this. Got a little goon action. Why is dearh going to Sentinel on this map? Because Sentinels are good on every map. I mean, is it optimal? I don't know. It's probably going to die here because it's going to get bombed. Yikes. You hate to see it. It's a PS2 game? Interesting. This was just an obvious error by dearh. Like, I don't love Sentinels on this map, but, I mean, Sentinels are still very good, right? The same, and Karsus brought this up, and a number of people have brought this up before. At the end of the day, there aren't that many people who are actually very good at Phobies. And while I think everybody can have an opinion on balance, there is a point where you really should only be listening to a very, very select... Mr. takes 2 turns to set up robot. What? The Sentinel? I don't know what that's in reference to. What I was saying is that while everybody can have an opinion on balance, and you may even be right, it is probably better to let the better players and build the game around the better players, because you can always improve. What? Okay, here's the troll, I guess. Here's the troll. I don't know. I don't know. Why did Cluck Norris come out? I legitimately don't get it. This makes no sense to me. Other than expressly for trolling. Yeah, that's what I think, Noodle. He just sighed deeply in his sleep. I'm very anxious, chat. I really want this update to both come out already, but we need it to be good. I don't want to say Phobies is past the point of redemption. And not because, like, oh, well, the devs are screwed us over so many times, so I'm past forgiving them. It's more like, I want the game to succeed, but I don't know if there's a window any longer. Any one mover takes, like, 2 turns to actually start doing something. The Sentinels are all right here, but any player has a good sense of the map will know that you can very much aggro on this map and punish stuff like that. This is what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter. This is the same thing in Star Wars, where... And it was why I was bringing up balancing and stuff, listening to better players. Because most of the time, the answer is get good, and people don't. And that's not a problem, inherently. Like, not everybody needs to be pushing Sum of All Fears 3. Presumably you can't have everyone pushing some of Ophir's 3 because of the way the system is set up, even though it's not a true elo. But here, you need people with the game sense and the willingness to be going for the win. That's why I don't think ladder matters. It's pretty common for games to take casual player concerns into consideration for balance. Hearthstone does it frequently. Remember, most players in any given game are casual. Yeah, and that's why Hearthstone's a bad game. See, there's different schools of thought, because the identical company makes StarCraft 2, and they balance strictly around the highest level players. Hearthstone is an inherently random game. And there have been, like, it's not exclusively either or, because StarCraft has made changes where something is oppressive at low skill levels, but is useless at high skill levels. Like, that's not unheard of. But you have to make that decision as a design team, and I think for a game like Phobies, which is trying to be chess-like, it needs to balance around high skill levels, not low skill levels. Because you can always get better. You can always grow your collection. If you put a hard cap on the ability to play certain things, that's it. Like, that's all it can do. And I'm not saying that maybe they shouldn't balance around low skill level stuff. You can certainly do both. I've talked about the idea of there being quote-unquote training phobies. So what's not uncommon is, in the past, we've had tons of people complain about, say, is that really worth it? I guess. We've had lots of people complain about Cerberus. That was a huge target for complaints a while back. Probably still comes up, excuse me. And the question is, do we change Cerberus to accommodate people, or do we just say get better? Well, it's hard to tell them get better when the economy is structured the way it is, because part of getting better does explicitly include increasing your collection. Can't argue. So it depends on what your definition of longevity is. StarCraft 1 is arguably the most difficult video game to play. Like, full stop. Part of that is because there are technological limitations, because the game was made in 1994 or 95, like whatever year it came out. I don't remember. It was in the 90s. That game is still played for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in championships today. Now, it's pretty much exclusively in Korea, but all of these decisions need to be scoped. You need to decide, what are we targeting? And that is the same thing, goes hand in hand with the economic questions and all the other questions surrounding Phobies. What a game that is a commercial success, a game that is a commercial success versus a success as a game, are not necessarily the same thing. Or they could be like the Venn diagram of that could be two independent circles. It could be a circle, or it could be a slightly overlapping circle. And it depends on what you want to do and what your goals are. That's why I've had this conversation about other games in slightly different contexts, but it basically boils down to, I want the devs to decide what they want their game to be. Like, dev, what is your perfect Phobies game? Show me what that is, and I will decide if I want to play that game. Now, that's easier said than done, because we don't live in magical Christmas land where they can just, do whatever the fuck they want, and they don't have to keep the lights on. They don't have to put food on the table. They don't have to, send their kids to school. You need money to do these things. So you need to sell the game in a way, or market the game in a way that you can make money. And sometimes those things are competing goals, having a good game versus having a game that appeals to people. versus having a game that makes a lot of money, because those are also three independent things. Anyway, last dearh game, and they hate us. We're here on Phobopolis. Fire Ant Battle. Oh god, I can't wait for this game to end. But here's the thing, like, Hearthstone is still around, but Hearthstone has absolutely crippled itself by comparison. It was never going to maintain the level of popularity that it was at. But every time every few months, it feels like Hearthstone's shooting itself in the dick again. And I do agree that appealing to the casual player is going to generate more money. There will, and this is the argument I always make, there are way more casual anything. Doesn't matter whether it's a game, it could be like making music, like being a musician. Like, there are more amateur guitar players than there are professional guitar players, right? Like, I hope everybody understands that's very painfully obvious. So if you are going to target something to try and make money, odds are you want to target the people who have less knowledge, and there's way more of them. You're more likely to get money out of them than somebody that knows what they're doing and doesn't necessarily need whatever you're doing. They're going to be more discerning, and there's just less of them. Now, you may be able to get more money per sale out of that person because they're willing, because they've invested the time and energy. That means they're willing to spend in order to get, whatever it is they're looking for. But the reality is that, yeah, casuals make up the bulk of everything, by definition. But nobody wants to think of themselves as a casual unless it's, oh, I'm not a sweaty tryhard. Most people want to think they are better than they are at whatever the thing is. And I think there's a level of respecting the player and saying, yeah, we trust that, you know your ass from a hole in the ground. Or we think you are capable of knowing the difference between your ass and a hole in the ground. It's a difficult thing to have to try and navigate as a company. Like, there's no getting around it. This game is ridiculous. Like, I still am of the opinion Fire Ant needs to go as a phobie. It should not exist. This is the other hole, other tenant, other pillar that... Buy a gravedigger now. You really need a gravedigger here? Whatever. Like, I like Crush more just because it condenses rolls. So that you're able to... you can squeeze more phobies in because now you have a threat, it's a lob, and it has Terraform, as opposed to Gravedigger where you need to supplement it with other things. This feels like this is going to be a composition loss for Bad Guy because they're just choosing the wrong phobies for this map. I don't necessarily agree with Doom, but, I mean, it's doing its job for now. Sorry, puppy, I'm not trying to wake you up. But I think Fire Ant is another phobia that goes in the category of... Not only is it extremely powerful, it may not be extremely powerful compared to the now truly overpowered things. However, I think that it causes enough weird things to happen in games that it shouldn't exist. Oh, good boy. Noodle, the king of dogs. I will get the puppy cam set up at some point. If he decides to actually hang out with me. He's down here with me for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't ever actually want to hang out down here normally. Harley never really liked hanging out down here. She did for a little bit. I think we had a few months. Because I remember setting up the puppy cam and we'd switch over to her periodically. She didn't love it down here. Down here being in the basement where I stream from. Which I'm obviously reorganizing, so I need to get stuff out of boxes. Back into the DTOFs. But I'm remodeling how I'm going to do the DTOFs. Restructuring, if you will. Gotta fill the silence that we're only halfway through this ridiculous game. I do like the heebie-jeebies special that happened up here, locking this out. I imagine we're going to get another one from the Crush more soon. The problem is that's going to activate this trap. You fought this guy before? Who? dearh? Or Succubus? 'Cause Succubus used to hang out on the stream, too. Submit some games. Why is bad guy doing this? Like, Succubus, what are you doing? Why? Was this bait? Like, did you bait this to... I don't know if that's worth. Oh, we're getting the yoink. We are body blocking out the Smiley, so it's not going to be able to connect with the Akira, which is really the big thing. We might not have to worry about it. No, we're going to have to worry about it. I was going to say maybe you can kill the Smiley, but in fact you cannot. You do have the big advantage with the Akira. My guess is the Akira ends up like another Akira pull will end the game. 15 turns from now. Ah, excuse me. We got the old honey bear puking on everything. Almost everything. Do you think Fire Ant... If Fire Ant didn't exist in the base set, and we just got Fire Ant, like, tomorrow, would it launch with fire resistance like Prometheus? I have a feeling it would. I think it would. Which is kind of scary if you think about it. Imagine a Fire Ant with fire resistance. Probably have push stats, too. This Doom, I'm not even trolling. This Doom got a fair amount of value. It spotted like 3 traps. It ate a trap. Interesting. I don't know if it's that interesting. But I think it is undeniable that the team has, at least as of late, been pushing Phobies more. As in, they're pushing the strength of Phobies. Maybe not literally, oh, this is plus 100 health and attack over the identical comparative Phobie. But the Phobies have more abilities, they break more rules, they do more things than... And often those things are more powerful than what a lot of previous ones did. And it, of course, isn't across the board. You look at Billy and you're telling me it's pushed? I mean... There's an argument for it. I think you could make the case that Billy might be pushed. But I think, I said this elsewhere, I think Billy is a good example of it's an unwritten design rule, and it shouldn't be broken for a reason. I don't know, maybe there is a stat range where Billy is okay. Like, I wonder if you just make Billy more fragile. Is he acceptable? And there's the Akira pull. What are we doing? This is why we need surrenders, because, like, this game is over. Wait, why didn't you kill the fire ant? Okay. I didn't think jar was going to be enough, but it was. I think just do less damage, you already burned the ground. It does have baseline some pretty low damage output. You could argue it could be lower. For a lot of these more powerful phobies, I think the question just needs to be asked in the design phase. What is the cost for doing this? Like, putting the phobia on the board and using it. And not how many keys, because that's obvious. We're talking about what is the cost in board position? What is the cost in tempo? What are you missing out on as an opportunity by utilizing this phobia versus others? And it just doesn't feel like they are just too generically powerful in a lot of cases. And I know I was saying earlier that there's always going to be those, and I think that's fine. But when we're introducing them like Billy, that's not good. That's not a good look. I don't think it's a good look to have a monthly $100 phobia end up being, like, crazy powerful. And we went through this discussion before, like, probably over a year ago. I forget which phobia it was. It's probably, like, Cecilia or something. One of the bad ones that released. And my opinion is, and it always has been, rarity should not determine power level. And that includes these monthly ones. Feels like dearh overshot the Sentinel there. Sure. The rarity should not determine power level. The rarer the phobia, the more interesting they should be. Now, that does often correlate to power level. Because, like, Akira is real interesting. I know everybody gets it, but Akira is an ultra rare, so. Very patient game by dearh here. Took a beating on the heart, but it is, of course, a big map. There's no easy access to the heart. Stalemated game. Broken by Akira? Never didn't have it. Down goes bad guy. GG. Alright, chat. What do we got? Got an S. Grunkly game. We haven't seen Scrungle in some time. It's been a while. And apparently, Scrungle forgot how to favorite their fucking games. God damn it. Nope, there it is. Never mind. I see it. We got it. We got Ez Grunkly, the Scrungle, coming back on Rush Hour. Why? The great Scrungle come back to Phobies. I'm a little rusty. No, that's not a silly way to foreshadow me somehow mysteriously obtaining Rusty. Well, I, honest to God, can't remember. Wonder who's next on the docket. The next person in order. So Grunkly, as mentioned, a former regular to Phobies and to Viewer Games and the streams. Haven't seen him in a while. Welcome back. It's good to see people returning, despite all of the wailing and grinding of teeth related to the current state of Phobies. I don't know, Chad. I was thinking about what would drive my... We were talking about last week. Somebody was stunned when I said I haven't played Phobies in like 2 years. Like, I haven't played a Phobies game in at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And somebody was stunned. Which I get. Like, I stream this every week. How could I not be playing the game? But I don't have any reason to play the game. Other than because I enjoy it, which I would, except I don't enjoy ladder. There's one guy in the Phobies Discord server who keeps insulting the devs on their Ask the Devs channel. Insulting them how? Like, just calling them names? Or, like, saying the game is crap or what? But I'm gonna... Hey, what's good? I'm gonna repeat the same thing that I keep saying every time this stuff comes up. Puppy made a weird noise. He's having a dream. The game needs events, and not in terms of, like, mechanical mayhem. We need tournaments. I need a reason to play, because ladder sucks for a lot of reasons. And even if they were to fix the ladder, it's just grinding games for the sake of grinding games. And because of the way the economy works, it is very difficult for me to get excited about ladder games that I'm playing in. Because it's like, can this person even answer what I'm doing? Like, say I have Fire Ant. Do you actually have any tools to fight it? If I go Shove Shark Sentinel, do you have any tools to fight it? Have I tried participating in Phobies Draft League? No, because I really don't want to. I don't like Phobies Draft League because I don't want to have to sit there and worry about my Phobie pool. I just want to play the fucking game. I don't want to go through hoops to play the game. And that's true with every game I play. I don't like playing alternative formats, and I consider draft an alternative format. That is the first time I've seen that obstacle broken in 2 years. Maybe longer. It's a great play here. Like, that was actually a really heads-up play. You get the Klepto retreat, you get the snipe on the snowball, you just trade this cassowary. And that was a really good play. There's a world where Gravedigger dies instead, but I don't know that bad guy can get Gravedigger and Cassowary. How many games left today? I don't know. You'd have to check the sheet. Probably like 5 or 6, I guess. So the guy who's insulting the devs just keeps saying, stupid devs, game's gonna die, stuff like that. Just ban the guy. Like, that's not a meaningful... Like, okay, I get people venting their frustration. But... if you're like, oh, the devs are stupid, well, what are they supposed to do about that? There's nothing actionable about that. If you say, I don't like how long it takes me to get new Phobies, okay, they could change something so that you get Phobies faster. That is an actionable change. Game's gonna die, make game better is not, okay, well, what does better mean? What part don't you like? What do you like? These are not useful ways to communicate. Pop the Klepto. We got an erratic for some reason. I mean, I guess there's enough mechs. Popping the Klepto. Sheep. What? This is starting to reek of, these are the Phobies I have. I did not. Dude, Grunkly, I thought you had a way higher level account. We're talking level 3 Phobies here. We've asked for Bro to get banned, but the admins haven't really done anything. I don't know what the requirements are. In your opinion, is Sparky good? Out of 100, I'd say Sparky is somewhere between 35 and 40. He has a specific role that he is mediocre at. Like, I know a lot of people dislike assigning numerical values or scores to different things. But I like them, and I think it is a valuable thing. Like, people understand bigger number better, right? And then if you pick a large enough scale, like 0 to 100, you can actually have granularity within the scale. But you need to make sure that you have the criteria for how things are being judged outlined. Boo Fairy Gaming, yeah, that's a rarity. This is absolutely, these are the phobies I have. But as far as who would I recommend instead, it's going to depend on the board state. The reality is yes. Me personally, I just put Frosty on the board. I mean, yes, Frosty would be better. Erratic is probably better, especially in light of Shove Shark. Like, if we're talking explicitly electricals, I'd have to go back and look at the electrical list. But most often, I would say just don't play electricals. They're not good enough most of the time. Like, Sparky's fine. But what are you playing him into? Like, what is the board state that you want? You go, you know what I really need here? I need Sparky. The obvious answer is mechanicals, but which mechanicals? Because he's probably going to go in, get one hit, which is not going to be enough damage to kill anything, because he one-shots almost nothing. And then he's going to die, because he's not actually that tanky. You're almost always better off going with a more generically powerful phobie like Klepto. Flesh Crawler's fresh from pack opening with 0 upgrades. Scheme goes on for another 8 turns. But our hero does in fact have Innocuous, so just going to be able to poke him to death. And with the, well, they don't have a hard health advantage. They do have a panic point advantage, and on top of, what? Oh, you get it. Okay, you kill it. That's reasonable. Wait, how do you win this? Do you win this? I'm just double checking to make sure I picked the right game. If this dies to the lava... You know what's going to happen? Our hero's just going to run around the map. Okay, maybe they're not. They're consolidating forces. We're going to heal. I'd be so mad if I put Boo Fairy in there. Boo Fairy got cooked. Literally. Literally cooked. How do you win this? Scrungle? Do you lose? Is this a loss? Not like this! No! Scruggle goes down on the return. We fought so hard, and we got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Womp womp. GG. The underleveled battle. That was actually kind of funny. That was pretty funny. But welcome back, Scrungle. Welcome back. All right, we got Got a little nuclear death action, and then PvZ is going to close out the night for us. Nuclrardeath. Death. No notes. The game will speak for itself. You know what match this is? This is Moai, one of my least favorite maps in the game. I do hate this map. I think it's doo-doo. I think this map is poop from a butt. The wet kind. It's an okay map. There are worse. I don't know. I don't remember if this is one of those that Karst was saying that it's like Coulrophobia, where the optimal strat that beats like not top, like it beats everyone except for top tier players because it's this one simple trick and you can't do it. But I absolutely, every time when I was still back in my day when I was still playing, all I did was Heart Rush. You go Crushmore, you go Inoculus, and then just keep chaining Phobies towards the heart. And it is extremely dumb. It is wildly uninteractive and kind of trivial to do. And it may have changed given that there are new Phobies in the game. But the way this map is structured is, I mean, the map is kind of designed for that. It's supposed to be, you need to react decisively as the defending player to try and defend the push. This looks like an okay defense. This might be all right. We'll see. Get the kill there. We get the power down so you can start poking away at the offensive specialists here. Nope, it's still the same. Fantastic. When Doc Holliday rears up on its back legs, we'll say, does the mouth opening shift? There's something weird about it that it doesn't look right. I'm just watching the animation. I'm trying to pause it. I'm going to try and pause it. It's never going to do it again. It rotates. Look at Doc Holliday right now. If it fell forward, it would not land on... Like, it would be triangular. It would have its front legs, right? And then the back legs would be an angle. That means that it has hips. It means that it has a pelvis so that it can rotate and stand up. Russell! Which obviously it did anyway, because that's how its legs swung, so it had to have some kind of rotation there, but Phobies tend to be liquid. Secrets uncovered. All Phobies actually made of Play-Doh. If they made a live-action Phobies, not live-action, but like if they made a Phobies movie, I would want it to be claymation. Like 1970s, 1980s claymation. I want Jason and the Argonauts. I want the 7 Voyages of Sinbad. I want Clash of the Titans. That's what I want to see. I want claymation Phobies. There's a pelvis in your tooth. So you got to do it in the Toy Story Woody. Why? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Hoovie? We got Hoovies now? Wait, why did you do that? They could have gotten a Blom, but I guess it wouldn't have been a very good one. Gotta heal his heart. I mean... Not even really. This game ends in 5 turns, so we're going to have a decisive turn here momentarily. What I don't get... I mean, okay, so there's the pink motif with healing Phobies, Clinico, and Dr. Dermic. I don't think Metabot has any pink. But obviously Hoovie's in that vein. And Hoovie kind of has a vacuum cleaner aesthetic with like, oh, the syringe-looking thing is the bag, and then that's the tube. And then you have the hose. I don't know. I feel like Repeller's going to push 2 Phobies into holes. Not with that Hoovie in their face. Our hero just kind of took over. Still 11 keys left, by the way. Still 11 keys. Blam. Tell me this Hoovie's going to come out and... We need... Does the endgame thing show heart healed as a stat? We need that as a stat. Hoovie, done for. What a pointless Phobie. It's not pointless in theory, but it's another one for the pile of, this is a cool idea, but it would never... It doesn't actually work out in practice. Why are we racing here? Because we have Morty. Your coffin has arrived. Hoovie got that 0 hard heal. No, Hoovie got 1 heal. Hoovie made an attack. Isn't it on attack? Yeah. Hoovie got 1 attack. Woo! Hoovie now might not... Well, maybe it'd probably still be bad. It'd probably be worse here, maybe. Do you actually race here? I mean, that's probably like 6,000 heart health. Can you do that much? You get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 attacks plus Cupcake? Yeah, I guess you could do it. This is so fucking stupid. You can even waste an attack on that other thing. I'm pretty sure Doc Holliday spits gold bars. Okay, so we might as well talk about this. I'm of 2 minds about the heart scaling. Part of me likes that it does not scale and that these strategies are viable because it does technically make like a counterattack, so you have to respect the potential counterattack. You know, like, if you're way ahead of me, but I have just enough Phobies on the board that it's like, if you go out of position, I might be able to get to the heart and race you. I like that that's possible. However, it needs to probably be planned for better. Like, people need to... By people, I mean the devs, design the maps in such a way that it is intentional for that to happen. I think because this is an accidental byproduct of the scaling stopping, that it causes weird ramifications and non-games. Like, maybe Moai is actually fine as a map, but it's not. It's a bad map. All right, PVZ going to close out the night for us. few match. Another PDL match. Success was found in only having 2 2s on the board. That was a game of all time. I've done that. What Nuclear Death did in the last game. Just so many people on that map. It is comical. Usually it's from the player 1 position. You just beeline and you just run them over because they're like, oh, what are you doing? You're not even going to collect the panic points? No, I'm just going to fucking kill you. You're just going to die. You can't stop me. Right, Noodle? It's like, why are you bothering me? Leave me alone. I want to take a nap. He's a sleepy boy. We're going to need to get him groomed soon as the paw, or the fur in between his paw pads is starting to get long. He's going to get his first grooming. He does do well with baths. He doesn't freak out in the bath. I've had dogs that, like, they just hate baths. Hercules. I didn't know you drafted that. My biggest issue, and we've talked about this before, with me playing in these sort of leagues is I don't want to have to micromanage my collection. Yes, I could just favorite them or something, but I just don't want to. I just don't want to do that. It's a pain in the neck. The other issue is I do want to play with my whole collection. Like, I want to use the Phobies I want to use. Now, you could argue, oh, just draft that team then, but that's easier said than done, if you've ever drafted anything. The PvZ off to a dominating start thus far with Hercules putting the hurt on bad guy. Is Ice Cream, like, saluting in the portrait picture? I don't know what's happening. Radiator. Chad, I got one of my Kickstarter games in. Might do an unboxing video for it. I'm pretty excited to play it. Nice. We get a little Undertaker action. What does anyone else in the league even have Undertaker? Like, you drafted that, but I have to imagine it was like a last pick because how many people even have this phobie? Only Fidelio, but didn't participate. Fair. Undertaker was my last pick, only because nobody else had it. I mean, that's the correct strategery, if you will. It is the correct strategy if you're gonna... If you know, then, yeah, what are we doing? I would be more inclined to do Phobies drafting things if there was an in-game interface to do it. And not just an interface to do the draft, although that's less of a concern. Although it is still a pain in the balls if there isn't. The larger concern is the in-game selection. I just don't want to have to micromanage that. I want to be able to click a button as I'm loading into the game. You know, like when you set the game and it's like, oh, I want this map. I want it set to level 1. I want it async or arena. I want this. And I want it, oh, use my draft collection from the last draft or something like that. That would be nice. My other issue with drafting in Phobies is it absolutely favors larger collections, which is kind of the opposite of drafting in other games. And the reason I say that is Phobies is a counter-pick game. So if you just straight up don't have access to certain things, somebody could draft you out of it. boss is something we haven't seen in some time. That's actually kind of interesting here. You've kind of, I will say that PvZ has been able to, like, control the entire board. Panic point advantage, and I don't think bad guy has made it to the halfway point yet, with the exception of that droney. And I'm not really sure how they stage an offensive. This is a very Red Rum-like map, where once you get pushed back, it is very difficult to stage the offensive. And especially in this league, like, you are inherently going to have less options. Which I guess is another challenge for a draft league of, like, since you can't control the map pool, how problematic is it that you can or can't have access to certain phobies? I foresee... Oh, actually, you can't Undertaker the Hercules back. You don't have enough keys. Why did this happen? What was the point of that? Was that really worth it? You were not paying attention to what? The positioning on the tooth fairy? I mean, I guess. Cassowary. You get the power down from Hexy here. But that's going to be a bunch of dead phobies at the bottom, and if this Hercules can clean up bad sheep... I guess you cannot. The bad sheep fart, yeah, that should be live. Poisoning 2 phobies, but a lot of bad guys' offense is toast. You do have to kill that sheep before the Clinico reactivates, though. It shouldn't be too difficult at this stage. I don't know how you get through the Clinico. Presumably the cassowary dies. I think they sent the sheep the wrong way, maybe? Down goes Hexy. There goes the sheep. So the Undertaker was decent here. Was it absolutely necessary? Maybe. Still had 3 keys, so like if it wasn't cassowary, you wouldn't have had any kind of immediate response to what was happening. But I don't know if that's the end of the world. The other 7 key I had was Sparky. Speak of the devil. This has got to be a dead boss, right? No way! Oh. You hate to see it. And just like that, this was a close one. This was a close game. But you still have 3 keys, and, I mean, bad guy is kind of walking the murder wing in. Yep. What about Jar? How does Jar work in this league? Does everybody get access to it? GG. That was pretty well played. That was pretty well played. The hard part, well, maybe not the hard part, but one of the harder parts about looking at those games is without knowing exactly who drafted what, it's difficult to even predict, like, oh, well, they should have done this. They should have done that. They should have been loading into the morbidity game. I don't know. It's hard to tell and be like, that was a mistake or this wasn't a mistake, because you may just not have access to certain phobies. It's like watching low-level games where it's like, we have no idea what they have. Sometimes you have to wonder what the hell both sides are smoking in a game. What the hell? Some phobies known as rentals, which are mandatory to have on your team and are available to everyone in jar, is indeed one of them. I imagine it's like all the basic 1 keys. Jar, Gravedigger, stuff like that. Why is Haffy's half-brother here? The hell is Sulky doing here? Is this another PDL game? Doesn't say in the notes. Sometimes you have to wonder what the hell both sides are smoking. Well, I am wondering a lot of things, given that there's a Sulky. Your start is questionable. Bad guy's start is plausible. Phantom. Sure. Why not? Why not? Oh, Chad, I am so tired. Ugh. I thought I was going to have a restful weekend, and my body wouldn't let me sleep in. So I just went to bed later because it was the weekend, and then got up at the same time I usually do for work, even though I wasn't working. And that's a recipe for being tired. It's going to be a long week. A long week. Got a bad sheep, Blasto. Other than the Sulky, like, this isn't bad. You love this map. This is a reasonable map. That is, like, one of my #1 quality of life things, is just give us access to 100% of the maps in Frenemies. And honestly, truthfully, there are 2 things that will happen. One, it will give you a lot of data about, hey, people play this map a lot in Frenemies. They must like it. Or, you know, like, there could be other reasons, but odds are, if you're doing something over and over and over and over again, you like it. The other thing that is you're likely to learn is people will probably end up playing the maps that are in the pool anyway to be like, oh, I want to practice on this map. Or maybe there will be a trailing effect of, this map was in rotation, it's now gone, but people want to practice more on that map for the next time it comes up. The main thing being, like I said, that you will get more information about what maps people like simply because they will play those. And I think that's valuable information to have. I like this map because I just go for stress points, and opponent 90% of the time doesn't know what to do. Focus my phobies or stress points, and I win. I mean, when you win, it feels pretty good. This is a very aggressive map. As player 1, you can definitely pressure player 2 a lot. Either via panic points or threatening the heart or whatever. We've seen that a number of times. But most people just don't play phobies that way. Why did you put blue, like... I mean, I guess it's your +1 key. You get the quote-unquote free kill here. But I don't know. Also, what is Sabian doing down here? Like, just hanging out. Nostalgic, rejoin, something. Like, dude, the bots are not even trying. Blue was going to be a menace. Sabian has been chilling. I know, that's why I asked. Sabian just, like, checked out. Sabian's quiet quitting. Blom. One of the original Bloms. Oh, you gotta love the Phantom play. Is this enough to kill Frosty? Whoa! Alright. Got him! That was pretty sick. That was pretty sick. Sulky is, in fact, feasting. Oh, the little guy. Little buddy. Little puppy. We got a Puff, and we got a bad guy. It's out of keys. Chad, I kind of want to organize another Fright Night-esque event, but I'm pretty sure nobody would show. Here I make a big mistake. We never got the... Do you get hit with like a big bomb here? There's got to be an Akira pull happening. Yep. Oh, yeah! You done messed up, Ron. I really dislike Radiator because I always forget its lunge attack at the end of turn. It turns a different color. Like, how do you forget? It's literally a different color. I think I woke him up with that. 5 seconds after submitting, I realized my mistake. Rip Blasto, true. The throw is real. The throw is on, chat. Yeah, I never got the whole show match thing going. I wonder if we could convince the devs to get, like, to Sum of All Fears, like, whoever the top Sum of All Fears 3 people to do show matches that I could cast that, and maybe we just, say, ban certain phobies? Radiator, cooking. Sulky, slapping. Frosty, zapping. I just need more music. Well, did you buy the soundtrack? I think they've added more music since then because I think we've gotten new new tile sets. But they did sell the soundtrack a while back. I don't know if it's still for sale. I'm sure it is. Bad guy with the panic point advantage. I mean, they've had one, but... Further panic point advantage. Our hero having a little difficulty getting the multi-strikes they need. Do get the kill here, and then the freeze. I was going to say, that's a good line. For the freeze. Sulky get another one? Wait, did you miss an attack with Sulky there? I feel like you missed an attack with Sulky. Maybe I'm wrong. Down goes Frosty, but I think Frosty's more than done its job. Max damage onto the Akira. There's another feast. Bad guy in shambles. Bad guy in shambles. How is this Bowmangles not dead? This guy is a tank. Bad sheep hanging in the back, praying for its life. However, now it's approaching the slaughterhouse. Sulky needs more feast. Is that why we're doing this? I love how the game, like the animation for that slows down when it does it. I think that's actually really cool. It makes it way more dramatic, which I really like. Speaking of quality of life things, we need a way to both speed up and skip animations. Imagine if Phobies got a Nuzdormu Phobie. So if you're not familiar, in Hearthstone, they have a similar turn timer like Arena. I guess it never would happen in this game, because in async it would just be completely useless. But in Hearthstone, there is a turn timer, and you have to take actions or your turn just ends, and after a certain point it runs out. So what if there was like an hourglass Phobie that in Arena reduced your opponent's turn timer? How toxic would that be? I'm going to say extremely toxic. How toxic would that be? Ultra toxic. So, last game of the evening, PvZ, Sulky was feasting. Well, he was in the last game, too, so we'll see how Sulky does here. Shorter game, smaller map. That would not be fun. That would be evil. Dude, I think it would be funny. But like I said, it would be literally useless in async. But the other thing is, one of the issues that Hearthstone ran into was there was a bug for a little bit where, similar to Phobies, the animations play out, but there was a bug that allowed you to essentially queue up a bunch of actions very quickly and then pass turn. So all the animations would play out on your opponent's turn, and they could not act, thereby wasting their timer and essentially skipping their turn, and then you got to take another turn. I kind of want that mechanic to exist because it's funny, but it absolutely should not exist because it is like the most toxic thing possible. What would you get for upgrading it? Less time? No, you just do stats. You cannot, like what's the timer now? 90 seconds? It's 60 and 90, right? Small and large map. So imagine if it cut it to like 30 and 45. You can't shrink it from there. Imagine being on a big map and only having like 12 seconds because they have a max level hourglass Phobie. Dude, that would be the most toxic thing in this game. It'd be funny. For like 2 or 3 games. Alright, so Sulky off to its feasting ways. Even with the current amount of time, I have people constantly not finishing their turns. Oh, I was famous for it. Although, admittedly, I'm usually doing that on stream. And it's like, oh, I'm talking to chat, and I'm bullshitting around, I'm doing this. It's like, oh god, I gotta take my turn. It's part of the reason why I've always felt Arena is the superior game mode. I understand why people don't like it, but I think the stress of the game is the selling point for me. Otherwise, having the time to perfectly map out your turns, or like figure out exactly how Akira is going to pull, or figure out all this stuff, even if you know it ahead of time, there are times where this is a complex maneuver, and as a result, You don't know exactly how it's going to play out. And I like the fact that Arena puts that additional pressure on you. Are we going to snipe the K9000 here with the phobies we have? Also, removing an action and that reducing the time is such a good idea. Well, I mean, we do have the remove an action thing. We got it in Collector and Dial and stuff like that. Yep, we are going to get the K9000. What? You know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Check Sulky's damage already. You only got 2 kills so far, right? Okay, you got more than 2 kills. How the hell... Wait, if he's getting 200 damage for each... Okay, you got 3 kills. I looked at it for a second, I'm like, the math wasn't mathing. Then I'm like, oh, wait. It's much simpler than I was thinking. Freezing the fire phobie over the sulky. I mean, I presume we're just going to shove Shark Sulky in and slap the snot out of something. Or we're just going to walk up to the murder wing. Dude, the Sulky is going ham! We haven't seen something this silly in a while. I feel like there's a little bit of collusion here. I think Bad Guy is allowing you to do this. I think Bad Guy might be colluding a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Womp. Womp. Oh my god. Remember when people thought Grimes was like, oh my god, they have Grimes, I can't win. Oh my god. Bad Guy, there's nothing Bad Guy can do at this stage. Dude, this is a almost 1600 damage Sulky. What is happening? Sure, you can. I love that it slows down. It honestly, I'm not trolling. Like, it makes me so happy that it slows down the animation. Did you kill any phobies without Sulky? Or did Sulky get every single kill? No to which question? Sulky ate them all. I think Sulky's animation, I do appreciate the slow motion uppercut, but I think Sulky needed to, like, ingest the phobie. This is a 1999 damage Sulky. Oh my god. Did you bully this person, PvZ? Are they, like, way lower level than you? Nah, they're not that much lower. It's a 20 level difference, but that's not, like, a dramatically lowered... Yeah, they're not that... There's no excuses there. They just got cooked by Sulky. Got smoked. Oh, man, that's a good one to end on. That's a good one to end on. Alright, chat. Probably streaming some Star Wars tomorrow. We'll be back next week. What level was that Sulky? The damage looked odd. I don't know. Do you know what? We can look. Whoop. Sulky was level 12. Yeah, it starts with 399, which is a very weird number. Like, it's kind of an odd number to have, but, I mean, the numbers be numbering. All right, chat. Like I said, probably Star Wars tomorrow, unless my wife says she needs me to help, and then we'll play some more Urtuk. I got to chop up the Urtuk video, get that up on YouTube. Yeah, we'll see. As I said before, I'm still excited about the upcoming updates. Updates, plural. I don't know. We'll see how Phobies wants to handle things. I am hopeful, but I am anxious. We'll see. We will see. But that's going to do it for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.